So anyway, I'm going to get started. We're at lesson 11. I, as our custom every week, I'm going to read lesson 11. Shabria, I'll talk to you, but we are following this book, A Course in Miracles. It's a book that was channeled through a lady um, uh, from Jesus, and it is a way for us to clarify our minds out of egoic consciousness into love so that we may release our grudges and grievances. We can heal ourselves, and get back into the alignment of love. So that's to let you know what we are reading from. So we are doing, Shabria, a lesson every week. This is the 11th time that we have met. So I'm going to read lesson 11. And each lesson, Shabria, Jesus has instructions for us to do. Um, and again, we'll talk about it. So this lesson is, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Uh, and in this, Jesus says, it seems as if the world determines what you perceive. Today's idea introduces the concept that your thoughts determine the world that you see. We influence what we see. We're not victims of what we see in the world. We are the creators of what we see. Um, he says, be glad indeed to practice the idea in its initial form, for in this idea is your release made sure. So that is lesson 11, and of course it has instructions with it, but we're not going to go through those instructions tonight. So Shabria will talk about what you need to do tomorrow morning in terms of going back to lesson 1. Also, what we do every week is we read the principles of miracles. And this is where Jesus is defining to us what miracles are. So I'm going to read the principles 25 through 27. Principle 25 says, miracles are part of an interlocking chain of forgiveness, which, when completed, is the atonement. Atonement works all the time and in all the dimensions of time. Principle 26 says, miracles represent freedom from fear. Atoning means undoing. The undoing of fear is an essential part of the atonement value of miracles. And 27 says, a miracle is a universal blessing from God through me to all my brothers. It's the privilege of the forgiven to forgive. Um, and every night we do, hi, Kevin, we do
How are you?
a pretty good what the principles of miracles are. So now let's go into our lesson tonight. What we're going to be talking about tonight is that we are powerful creators. And before I get into that, I had one of my powerful sisters call me, and she was grappling with lesson 26. And lesson 26 states, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. Um, so in this lesson, it just talks about where Jesus wants us to think about something that you're concerned about. Then he wanted us to go over every possible outcome in connection with that concern, saying, I am afraid that, so you can say, I'm concerned about my finances. And then, okay, I am afraid that with COVID, I may lose my job, or I am afraid that I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to lose my house, or I'm afraid that I won't be able to feed my family. And then he wants you, after you have named each outcome of what you are afraid of, he wants you to tell yourself, that thought is an attack upon myself. And then conclude each practice period by repeating, my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. And this lesson can be quite confusing because Jesus is having us bring up all these concerns and fears, which can very much stress us out. But he wanted us to conclude with the reminder that any thoughts of fear are attacking our invulnerability. And let me read you really the premise of what that lesson is talking about. And we are definitely going to be in the book, in A Course in Miracles tonight. Guys, I'm going to read everything from this book tonight. But real quick, in the preface of A Course in Miracles, on page X, in the preface, it's basically, the book is based on this principle that nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So basically, it's saying everything that we see, everything that the eye can see, can and will be destroyed, will wither away, including our bodies. So these are things that we have created. We're experiencing, we're having this experience of separation. So everything that we see ultimately is not real. Everything that is unreal will last forever. And that is who we are. We are not our bodies. We are souls carrying these bodies. And so it says, herein lies the peace of God, because this is where our freedom from fear and anxiety is. To know that, you know what, everything that really matters can never be destroyed. And upon this, what I told my friend is all our fears, and we all have them, especially during these times. All our fears, bring them to the altar of God and just say, God, you take it. Finances, health, whether or not you gonna get sick, just take it to the altar of God and say, I know that everything that you have created cannot be destroyed. So I just wanted to go over that real quick because she was grappling with that lesson, and I know it can be difficult to grasp. But we are individuations of God. We are made of love, from love, for love, and therefore are invulnerable. We are invulnerable. I want everybody to kind of put that in your heart tonight. So tonight, that is exactly what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about our invulnerability. Hi, Ruben. My brother just came on, guys. Hi, Ruben. We're into the lessons, and I'll explain everything to you on the phone when we're done. So I wanted to bring our attention to Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 through 27. It says, then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, to rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, and over all the earth itself, and every creature that crawls upon it. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And so we've all had the conversation about extraterrestrials and that there are other beings. that exists that goes beyond the human being, right? That physical form goes much further than the form that we are wearing. There are all kinds of beings in this universe. Some look similar to us, some look very different. Therefore, being in the image and likeness of God who created the all of it, is not about us looking like God, because God is the formless. God is the all of it. God is the beginning and the end. God is the energy and the essence that holds everything together. God is love. So to be in the likeness of God is to be God like, to be like that of our Creator. So we are the created creators. Like God, we have the ability to create our world and our lives collectively and individually. And that is exactly what we do. Um, Tonight, we're going to be getting really deep into uh, things that we've believed, that we've been told all our lives, and the truth. So there are beings who are both human and extraterrestrial who understand these truths about us. They know our power, even if we don't know it. And they not only withhold this information from us, they use it against us. Why do they do this? Because for a moment, imagine if we all knew who we really are. Imagine if we all woke up one morning connected to our power. We will all walk around like Jesus, like Buddha did, like all of the ascended masters. Who would be able to control us? Who would be able to influence us? Imagine the kind of children we would raise to lead us into the new world. Jesus was hated because he could not be controlled. Jesus had raised his vibration high enough to receive his information straight from God. And that is what made him so loving and so powerful, that the church actually proclaimed that he was God, that he was God's only son. And tonight, I tell you, Jesus was no more God than we are. And I'll repeat that: Jesus was no more God than we are. And he celebrates me even saying this in this moment, because Jesus wants everyone to wake up to who we are. Don't take my word for it. Let's go to A Course in Miracles, pages 7 through 8. Many things have been taken out of the Bible to keep us small. There's so much truth in the Bible, but there's so much that was omitted as well. Um, and I actually have a book that I want that I've talked about, and I wanted to show you guys. But I am in A Course, for those of you who have the book A Course in Miracles. I'm in A Course in Miracles, pages 7 through 8. I'm reading paragraphs 3 through 4, and it says, "Awe, to be in awe, should be reserved for revelation, to which it is perfectly and correctly applicable. It is not appropriate for miracles because a state of awe is worshipful, implying that one of a lesser order stands before his creator. You are perfect. You are a perfect creation and should experience awe only in the presence of the creator of perfection, which is God. The miracle is therefore a sign of love among equals. Equals should not be in awe of one another, because awe implies inequality. It is therefore an inappropriate reaction to me." This is Jesus saying this. "An elder brother is entitled to respect for his greater experience and obedience for his greater wisdom. He is also entitled to love because he is a brother, and to devotion if he is devoted. It is only my devotion that entitles me to yours. There is nothing about me that you cannot attain. I have nothing that does not come from God. The difference between us now is that I have nothing else. This leaves me in a state which is only potential in you. In paragraph 4, he says, no man cometh unto the Father but by me, does not mean that I am any way separate or different from you except in time. And time does not really exist. The statement is more meaningful in terms of a vertical rather than a horizontal axis. You stand below me and I stand below God. In the process of rising up, I am higher because without me, the distance between God and man would be too great for you to encompass. I bridge the distance as an elder brother to you on the one hand and as a son of God on the other. My devotion to my brothers and sisters has placed me in charge of the sonship, which I render complete because I share it. This may appear to contradict the statement, I and my Father are one. But there are two parts to the statement, and in recognition that the Father is greater. So Jesus is basically saying, I'm your elder brother, and I'm a little further up on the chain and on the ladder than you are. But I don't have anything else that God gave me that He hasn't given you. Um, Jesus gets right into this, like right after he talks about what miracles are. He gets right into this on the first page that he's going through great strains to make sure that we understand that we should not view him as God. And the reason why there is freedom in that is because the limiting beliefs that we have acquired over the years can now be released, and we can become miracle minded. We can become miracle workers. We can get our information straight from God the way that He did. Um, the people in power after Jesus' death wanted us to believe that Jesus is special, that only Jesus is God, that we are not special. And actually, we were born in sin. So don't you dare think you can do anything that Jesus did. Don't you dare think that you can go straight to God. This is not true. Again, he refers to himself as our elder brother. And in fact, it is only his devotion that entitles him to our devotion. On page 7, he says, there is nothing about me that you cannot attain. I have nothing that does not come from God. The difference between us now is that I have nothing else, meaning I don't have grudges, I don't have grievances, I don't have vices, I'm not grappling with ego like you guys are. And he's going to talk a little bit more about this. So I'm going to go on page 12. And on page 12, paragraphs 1 and 3, listen to this. It says, the miracle is much like the body in that both are learning aids for facilitating a state in which they become unnecessary. When spirit's original state of direct communication is reached, neither the body nor the miracle serves any purpose. While you believe you are in a body, however, you can choose between loveless and miraculous channels of expressions. You can make an empty shell, but you cannot express nothing at all. You can wait, delay, paralyze yourself, or reduce your creativity to almost nothing, but you cannot abolish it. You can destroy your medium of communication, but not your potential. You did not create yourself. And in paragraph 3, he says, when the atonement has been completed, all talents will be shared by all the sons and daughters of God. God is not partial. All his children have his total love, and all his gifts are freely given to everyone alike. Except ye become as little children means that unless you fully recognize your complete dependence on God, you cannot know the real power of the Son in his true relationship with the Father. The specialness of God's sons and daughters does not stem from exclusion, but from inclusion. All my brothers and sisters are special. If they believe they are deprived of anything, their perception becomes distorted. When this occurs, the whole family of God or the sonship is impaired in its relationships. So Jesus is basically saying all of God is not partial. He shares his gifts with all of us. Bear with me, pages 64 through 65. And I'm going to read paragraphs 9 through 11. Paragraph 9 says, "You are a mirror of truth in which God himself shines in perfect light. To the ego's dark glass, you need but say, I will not look there, because I know these images are not true. Then let the Holy One shine on you in peace, knowing that this and only this must be. His mind shone on you in your creation and brought your mind into being. His mind still shines on you and must shine through you. Your ego cannot prevent him from shining on you, but it can prevent you from letting him shine through you. The first coming of Christ is merely another name for the creation, for Christ is the Son of God. The second coming of Christ means nothing more than the end of the ego's rule and the healing of the mind. I was created like you in the first, and I have called you to join me in the second. I am in charge of the second coming, meaning Jesus is saying, I'm in charge of our release from ego and therefore our healing. And my judgment, which is used only for protection, cannot be wrong because it never attacks. Your judgment may be so distorted that you believe I was mistaken in choosing you. I assure you, this is a mistake of your ego. Do not mistake it for humility. Your ego is trying to convince you that it is real and I am not. Because if I am real, I am no more real than you are. That knowledge, and I assure you that it is knowledge, means that Christ has come into your mind and healed it. So basically, in paragraph 11 says, I do not attack your ego. I do work with your higher mind, the home of the Holy Spirit, whether you are asleep or awake, just as your ego does with your lower mind, which is its home. I am your vigilance in this because you are too confused to recognize your own hope. I am not mistaken. Your mind will elect to join with mine, and listen to this, and together we are invincible. You and your brothers and sisters will yet come together in my name, and your sanity will be restored. I raise the dead by knowing that life is an eternal attribute of everything that the living God created. Why do you believe it is harder for me to inspire the dispirited or to stabilize the unstable? I do not believe that there is an order of difficulties in miracles. You do. I have called and you will answer. I understand that miracles are natural because they are expressions of love. My calling you is as natural as your answer and as inevitable. Jesus is preaching the word, okay? I hope y'all are with me on this. Jesus is saying that your judgment is convincing you that he is mistaken in choosing you. Being in this group is not coincidence, y'all. Reading this material, doing these lessons, clarifying our minds is not everybody who's on this lesson right now, it's not coincidence. He says, do not be mistaken that he chose you. He says, this is a mistake of your ego. When we say, oh, Jesus really didn't, he's not choosing me. I mean, I'm not really special. That's not humility. Ego makes you think that's being humble. No, that is ego keeping you away from your truth. He's saying, your ego is trying to convince you that I'm not real, because if you know that I'm real, then you know I'm no more real than you are. Um, Jesus also says, he raised the dead. And so do you not believe that if I'm able to raise the dead, that I can help clarify and clear your mind back to love, so that you may heal yourself, so that you may release your grudges, so that you may return back to health? I hope everyone on this call understands this is not just another religious group. That's not what this is. We have enough of religion. That is something this country has an abundance of. I don't do religion. I just don't. This right here, this book, this group, and many other groups that have formed around this book is about transforming our minds, about being miracle minded, about being miracle workers, about that which we are. We are light workers, about having freedom from fear, and ultimately about understanding that we are individuations of God. This is about experiencing and expressing that which we are. This study is going beyond religion. It's about expressing the highest version of who you are now. I would like to convey to you all um, that Jesus has called every one of us higher, and he is not mistaken in his selection. We have created the space because we've gone through life. We've gone through disappointments. We've wanted to die. We've not had the answers. We've held grudges. We've recognized how we're programmed. We have created the space that has allowed this information to come to us. And we have stayed the course. This is week 11. I hope that I'm not alone in being absolutely inspired by some of the things that Jesus has said in his book. Um, it is important because after Jesus' death, after they crucified and killed him, they created a narrative around Jesus. And by saying he is God, it is to demonstrate to us that we are not. He didn't mince his words. I read straight from the text. He made it clear that he is our elder brother and that he is calling us up to do everything that he did. The information in the book it's hard to appreciate the passion behind Jesus's words, right? Because they're neatly written in a book. But if you read this book page by page and take your time in reading it, you will pick up on he's coming with the truth, and he's coming with the power. That's very exciting to me. That's very exciting to me. Some of the text is a little hard to grasp, but some of it is very matter of fact. And I love it. We are powerful beings. So I thought about it. If we all can imagine a cartoon, right? A cartoon that has little children who all have magic powers but no guidance. They have the ability to create and destroy worlds, to speak death or life in the universe. That is us. That is us. We have the ability to exist in multiple places at one time, to manifest health or disease in our bodies. We influence our weather. and ultimately our world. And this is not something that we are waiting to have. We are creative now, we are powerful now. Just because we don't know our power doesn't mean that we don't have it and that we don't create. We already create. We still create. We're powerful beings. So being ignorant of that in no way takes away that power. But what it does, if you're ignorant of that, when you create something that you don't enjoy. So either we can create consciously or we can create unconsciously. So again, we're not told this information about ourselves. In fact, we're told that we're born in sin. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. You know, you're born in sin, so you already off the bat, you that's a done deal. uh how does that make us feel ultimately? Thinking that, thinking that we're as filthy rags to God. What I mean, we how what an incredible way to separate us from the truth of who we are. So every thought that we have is created. Every word that we speak is created. Everything that we do moves us toward an experience that we have individually and collectively created. This is why none of us are victims. We have all created our reality. Some of us have created a happy dream, and some of us have created a nightmare. Because we were not taught how to use our powers, again, this information has been withheld from us. This is why we're here, because most of us have recreated a reality that we do not like, that we do not enjoy, and we recognize the value in transforming our minds back to the truth so that we may create abundance, peace, harmony, health, forgiveness, love. So, how is this power being used against us? I'm going to give an example on a seemingly small scale, but with consequences on a worldwide level and beyond. We have no idea of our participation in some of the one of the largest things that we create. So imagine we're looking at a movie, right? It's family night. We're all looking at a movie in the living room. And I don't know if it's a horror movie or what, uh, but a woman is walking down the street. She's stranded because her car stopped working. And we know the narrative of the story. We know how this is going to end. They add the dreadful music to the scene as we watch this scenario being played out. We see either a large man or a monster, whoever the movie wants to glorify, slowly walk upon this woman and brutally rapes, tortures, and murders her. So as we look at these awfully violent scenes, we offer one of the most powerful energies in the entire universe to this content, our consciousness. We're giving the vibration of this scenario our attention. Think about the meditations we have when we invite the white light into our chakras. All you have to do is imagine it, and you can feel that white light impacting your body. That is the power of our consciousness. So as we're looking at this play out in this movie, our minds and our bodies don't understand that we are actually not experiencing this. It thinks we're experiencing. So our bodies go through the same physiological reactions as if we're in a situation ourselves. Our breathing accelerates. We squint our faces and retreat back in our couches as we see the blows to her body. And we get this urge to run as if we're being attacked, but we don't. We don't run. So now, in addition to the power of our consciousness, we have now added fear to the mix. Fear is one of the most powerfully manifested energies we have within our realm of experience here. Remember, Conversations with God taught us that we experience only one of two things: it's either love or fear, and that everything else is just a byproduct of either love or fear. So as we continue to watch our bodies and our egos, because the ego is about the protection of our body. So even the ego is giving us the urge to run or turn the TV off, but the ego loves this stuff at the same time because it's about separation and violence. And on top of the mind and the body telling us this is not good, our internal guidance system is telling us this is painful, this is out of alignment of love. So we all have this feedback telling us this is not right, this is not good, but we continue to watch because we've been conditioned to watch this kind of stuff and call it entertainment. So even though we won't leave, we pick something up to cover our eyes to see but not see what's being played out because it's really inconsistent with who we are. Remember, we are made of love, from love, for love. So now magnify this energy, this collective energy by 100 godlike beings in a theater to watch this blockbuster movie that they all of our God selves are looking at this and participating in this scene. What is the impact? Well, look at the numbers. On average, there are 433,000 victims of rape and sexual assault each year in the United States. And between 1 and 3 million incidents of domestic violence are reported each year, while many other incidents go unreported, they say. So, but numbers really don't move us, they're just statistics. But I volunteer for an organization that needs people to be on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to help assist women and men who have been beaten or sexually assaulted by their husbands or boyfriends. So when I look into the eyes of these women and try to find a toy for their kids to play with while I'm sitting with them to document the abuse in order for them to convince a judge over the phone to grant them a temporary restraining order, those numbers get real. These are people, some men, mainly women, who have been abused and are suffering from the impacts of abuse. So, our participation, our investment in this kind of scene has impact. This is one of the ways that Jesus is saying in the Course in Miracles that we create our world. This is how we have chosen to use our free will to participate in something that's not worth our attention. We see this often in our movies, in our news, in our music. It's become so normalized, so much so that people think it's okay to just abuse their partners. Abuse if a man sees a woman stranded on the street at night. If he feels like, depending on how he's wrapped up, if he feels like he could get away with it, he can decide to rape and murder her if nobody knew. This is what normalizing that kind of stuff means. This is why I refuse to watch or contribute to the machine and normalization of violence and violence against women. Not only financially, but energetically. This is one of the most unconscious but powerful ways that we co-create our world. Um, what if more of us walked away from movies that glorify violence? Even one person refusing. And I'm not speaking against looking at movies. Movies are so much a part of our culture, and TV is so much a part of our culture. But what I'm saying is recognizing what does that mean by saying we are God? What does that mean? How powerful are we? So just being selective about what we give our attention to. Um, that's what this is about. Uh, so I know I've said a lot. Do we have anybody with questions, comments? Anybody got questions? Kevin, what you got to say? Kevin is unmuted. You unmuted. Um, I know I said a lot. I know we grew up with beliefs, about Jesus and that kind of thing. Jesus is really taking his story back. He's taking his story back by channeling through beings. He channeled through the same woman that I have everybody checking out her lessons, the lessons in the Course in Miracles. He had her write this book called Jesus, My Autobiography. I've mentioned this. And he just talks about his life. It's an easy read. You can read this book in one setting, and he talks about his life in his own words. And it's powerful because he's he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth of who he was and the truth of who we are. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. I'm hearing radio silence. Who is this? Who is this that has chatted? Hey, family, had to drop off. Okay, so Shauna had to drop off. So, okay, so it's 6:46 now. I'm going to get into the meditation. And tonight's meditation is going to be a little different now. Tonight, I want to speak affirmations. So I'm going to have everybody comfortably sit, where you are, if you're not driving and if you're able to sit comfortably where you are. And I am going to speak affirmations for us. So if everybody can close your eyes and sit in a comfortable position, mute yourselves if you can. And as every week, breathe in through your nose. We're going to do this 3 times, breathing in through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, releasing all that does not serve you. Inhaling again through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, completely emptying your lungs. Inhale again. And as we exhale, relaxing those shoulders. And as I speak, I just want everybody to listen and connect with my words. I am are the 2 most powerful words in the universe. It speaks that which we are. That's why we don't need to say, I am tired or I am angry. We can say, I experience exhaustion in my body, or I experience anger, but we are not anger. We are God. So I am that spark of light from source. I am the great observer. I have lived many lifetimes, and I volunteered to be here during this time, during Earth's evolution. I am the created creator. I am God-like in my essence. I am made of love, from love, for love. Everything I have experienced has brought me to this very moment right now. Everything has occurred perfectly in divine timing. There are no mistakes. Everything is an opportunity to demonstrate myself as who I am. I will not follow the leadership of collective consciousness. I will be that spark of light who dares to do things outside of a conditioned response. I am a miracle worker. I am miracle minded. I am a Course in Miracles student. And I am raising my vibration to forgive myself and others. I am raising my vibration to overcome anxiety and fear. I am healing my mind. And in healing my mind, I am healing my body. I recognize that my participation in this group is a miracle, as I am interacting with like minded beings who are also raising their vibration to love. I am releasing the burdens of egoic consciousness. I am releasing my blockages so that I may hear God's voice, as I know that God speaks to me all throughout the day. I am clarifying my mind back to love, one lesson at a time. I am taking back my power, one lesson at a time. I am choosing to have a happy dream and releasing the bonds of my nightmare. I am connecting with my power, my God given talents and abilities. I am welcoming peace back into my life. I am learning to go within myself through daily meditations and prayer. As I embark on this new year, I recognize that I do not need to make resolutions, as I recognize that resolutions may be temporary. I'm excited that my decision to participate in lessons every day from A Course in Miracles provides a new opportunity to create abundance, peace, and joy into my life. And as we slowly open our eyes, we can take those affirmations with us. And that's all I have for tonight, you guys. Um, I would love to talk about or hear your thoughts on what was said tonight.
Hi everyone, it's Khadidra.
Okay.
Hey, I love how you broke down how our individual consciousness contributes so greatly to, to violence that we experience in the world, because
Mm-hmm.
it's so unintentional, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that's how like unintentionally powerful we are, right? We don't even realize how much, energy we're giving to something
Yeah.
that we wholeheartedly disagree with, like would never do.
Yes.
And so this, it's just that I just love how you broke it down, because I never thought that me watching like a violent movie was contributing to someone, possibly experiencing that in real life, but it does. And that's definitely something, that's sobering. It's eye opening. It's just something that I never connected. So that's what struck me, was how you connected something that seemed so like innocent and abstract, and you made it real. And then you talked about how, statistics, they can be,
We can
they can be,
disconnect from numbers. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that was it. But you talked about how you experienced it in real life. So that's my takeaway from what you said.
Thank you for that, Khadidra. And you know, Y'all, I know that I Cherry on here. She always say, Loretta, now you know you deep, right? You know you deep. That's she always says that. But if y'all stay with me, when I say that we have so much programming, that everything is by design. And just like you said, Khadidra, it's so much a part of that's the American way, to go to a movie with, you know, 80 some odd other people, depending on how popular the movie is, and watch a movie together. But those who have who own most of the world know how we're wired up. And so, just like the Bible says, there's power when more than one comes in my name, there's also power when we come and do something else. And it is, this is not about guilt or anything like that, even to the point where the victims, or the not the victims, but the people that I see who have been abused by their partners, this is about recognizing something and making a new choice. Um, I referenced last week about us being as beautiful wild animals, lions, who are in cages, and the cages are unlocked, and we don't escape because we've just been conditioned to just be comfortable. This is about us waking up to that which we are, and making a different choice. And the part of me that is a control freak, I hate for something to feel like something is controlling me, that somebody is betting that I'll respond a certain way, and so crafting a situation for me to follow. This is about us being present, about us wait. That's why it's called waking up. Um, and saying, you know what, I'm this does not resonate with me. I'm not gonna participate in this anymore. I am gonna give my, because I'm God, right? I'm gonna be selective about what gets my time. I'm very specific about where I spend my time, and not only financially investing, but energetically what we're investing our time in. And that's just on a very, very small scale, but in every way, how will we demonstrate ourselves as God and recreate our world? Recreate the world that we see. If we have the power and understand that we've created it this way, let's be encouraged that we can recreate, and do something different. And that was a demonstration to show us, um, I love it. I love it. We're powerful beings. We're not cut off from God. God experiences the universe through us. And so, what does that mean? That's an exciting concept. uh, and to be able to acquire the talents and the gifts that God gave us all. Um, I want to be able to heal. I want to be able to be healed. I want to be speak life into people. I want to be that person. I am that person. We are that person, and I just really, really, really hope that I'm able to convey the um, the inspiration that that this gives. Really. And this again, God, Jesus went right into this. He went right into the first page. So it's exciting to me. What about you, Greg? You unmuted yourself. Did you have anything?
Your last statement resonated with me that we're co-creators and we're experiencing everything as a co-creator with God.
Mm-hmm.
We're an extension of God.
Mm-hmm.
If God is perfection, God is everything, God is nothing, God is that state of being prior to the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Think of
Mm-hmm.
the Big Bang as present moment, Everything is
Yes.
revealed,
Yes.
and we're created, and our consciousness is part of that present moment.
Yes.
So some of the other spiritual teachings, to be more practical about it, how do we help ourselves, help God, help each other?
Yes.
Since we're all
Yes.
one, we want to help each other. Some of the techniques that I've been trying to do, it's hard. We're flawed human beings.
Yes.
But one of the one of the things I'm trying to do is trying to train your mind to eliminate negative thoughts. To your
Mm-hmm.
point, there's love and there's fear.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you can eliminate negative thoughts or fearful thoughts or judgment, and try to stay in a state of love,
Mm-hmm.
compassion, and understanding, the more closer you become to God in
Yeah.
terms of that.
Yeah.
And in fact, the practical application is you create a heaven on earth. Heaven and hell is not a place
Yeah. Yes.
away from this. You
Yes.
know, since we're living in we're living in the now. And
Yes.
in fact, hell is probably a place that you self-create through fear, through just a lot of negative emotions,
Mm-hmm.
through having society and culture control you, not understanding who you really are. You can live a life of hell on earth. Uh, Conversely, you can live a life of heaven on earth too.
Yes.
You live in
Yes.
love and joy, and you're in that state. And I try to do that when I walk the dogs every morning. I try to empty my mind. I try not to make judgments when I see people or things or places or whatever thing. I just try to keep a calmness and not
Mm-hmm.
judge.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of people I say hi to in the morning when I walk the dogs and smile, it's a form of heaven actually. I'm
That's
in a
it.
calm state.
That's it. I love it. Greg, you so deep. I love it. 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 That's absolutely
Just my 2 cents though. But if everyone can try to do that as a practical exercise, you're
mm-hmm.
just one little step closer.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Did Cherry, how do you feel? I don't want to put you on the spot, but um what did you think about what we talked about? Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. She might be busy. That's right. She driving, I think. Miata, Sophia, Ebony,
No,
Shabria. I know this was your first week.
actually, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Did you have anything to add?
Like I said, girl, you deep, but but just in terms of the two emotions, love and fear, and really trying to create that love on every level and every layer as it
Mhm,
relates to one's life and existence, I think I would find some benefit in working on that.
mhm, mhm,
I definitely would. And also, I appreciated Greg's comment in terms of the things that he identified and brought out. I can relate to it, and it was practical enough for me to have some like real potential application.
mhm.
So
Love
that
it.
was, thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. Greg, thank you. Thank you.
That's, that's
Yes,
You're
yes.
quite welcome.
Um, Thank you, Cherry, for your comments. This is a quote that I have. I've not read it. If anybody reads this somewhere, let me know. Um, but the beginning of healing is the understanding that we are God. To me, if you really can integrate that into your body, into your heart, into your mind, to know that you are loved unconditionally and to recognize your beauty, your courage, and your divinity, I just think naturally we would just get to the point where you're raising your vibration high enough to release all that does not serve you. I just feel like that is the beginning of self healing, is to understand that we, like Greg said, we are all connected, we are all one, and to recognize that within yourself. That's why we're told you're born into sin, because to recognize your own beauty and your own power is very, very, very powerful. And so Mhm.
Loretta, I just thought about it. The big hurdle for many of us, and it's probably subconscious because we're listening
Mhm.
proactively and consciously to the words, reading the books,
Mhm.
reading other sources, but we're dealing with social conditioning, societal conditioning,
Mhm.
parental conditioning, family units as you're growing up, all that basically put God as a separate being that
Yes.
judges you.
Yes.
I don't know if you blame the church or society or culture.
Yes.
So I believe the big transition in following this path, at least in the beginning, and I consider myself in the beginning also a learner, a student,
Yeah.
is getting over this concept that, oh, you're an extension of God. You're actually God. You're a co-creator, and to interpret the Bible and other teachings differently, because you have to take a, there's a lot of opinions that the church, they misinterpreted the writings for their own benefit.
Yep. Yep.
The church is run by human beings, which are
Yep.
flawed, and it's about power and everything. Loretta brought that up, and it's hard because you're conditioned. But once you can get past that and start seeing light, maybe God is not a separate judgmental being, and just that statement in itself, it makes no sense. A loving God that created all this would not be judgmental, would not give out punishment if you made a mistake, because we're an imperfect human being. So you can actually mentally throw that out the window. So, all right, so what's the truth? We're all truth seekers. And then there's a lot of evidence and a lot of beliefs. It appeals to your common sense that maybe I'm an extension of God. Maybe everything is one. And as I mentioned in previous calls, the science backs it up. I made the connection. And the more you think about it and try to live it, your guides, your higher self will give you insights to bring you along the journey. You're actually winning at the game. There's breadcrumbs all over the place. You just have to look for them.
That's right.
You loving this, Loretta?
I love you, Greg. I love you.
Oh,
Yes.
that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Greg, you the man, Greg. You is the
Greg,
man.
man, really, like all of you all, every one person who logs in this week is significant. You,
It's a hard journey. It's a hard journey.
mm-hmm.
I still struggle with trying to understand things, and a little bit each day. So nobody get frustrated. Just try to, do the things, read the teachings, listen to Loretta. She knows. She
you
speaks the truth.
funny. You funny. Listen to Jesus, but I
Listen to Loretta.
get all my information from Jesus. So I'm not saying anything that I'm making up. That's why I refer to the channel books for real. So I'm gonna play. Ebony sent me like 50 million Beyonce songs. Did anybody else have anything to say? Thank you, Shabria, for joining us. I would love to talk to you so we could talk about what this group has been up to. Hi, Miata. Do you have anything to say, Miata? What about you,
I love
Shabria?
all of you guys. I say that, Greg, you just the man, Greg. You the man. But Loretta, I loved it tonight. Like
Yeah.
you always make us feel uplifted and understand who we are as people. So I just always love coming into this and looking forward to just connecting with all of you guys.
Yes, thank you for joining.
No problem.
What about you, Shabria, before I play the music?
Hi everyone, this is my first night. But I really enjoyed tonight and I will definitely be back. But what really resonated with me tonight was when you spoke about, just being mindful with who you give your ear to,
Mhm.
because, you know, whoever or whatever you're giving your ear to, it can get your mind.
Yeah.
Um, And I think once I started to realize that for myself, that was kind of a breaking point for me with some of the people, places, and things that I associated myself with.
Mm,
Because I feel that I have like a very good keen sense of energy,
mm,
and I can be in a room full of people and I can hear someone speaking a certain way, and it'll automatically give me a vibe like, oh, don't really, not don't associate myself with that person, but the vibe and the energy would, keep me away. I won't deal with that
mhm,
person too much. Or
mm,
I can, be in a place and not feel comfortable. So
mm,
like I feel like that is very important, especially when you're like going through a transition. And I also feel like that is one of the toughest like stages in the transition,
mm. And what you're
especially
doing.
amongst people that we're comfortable with, and we grew up
Mhm,
with or we
mhm.
work with and things like that. It's kind of hard, to pull ourselves away from it. But
Yeah.
every day you just have to take everything a day at a time. Um, and we'll all get there.
Ebony has some insight on that, don't you, Ebony? Get, getting to a point where
I'm
you.
a her- I'm just gonna go through with the Course of Miracles. It has truly changed my life. I'm not sure everybody is on their own journey, their own timeline and everything, but I just want to say how amazing is it to have a place to go every day in the morning
Yes.
and have God or Jesus talk
Yes.
to you.
Yes.
It's just so
Yes.
amazing and it helps set the tone for my day. Like I don't want to give it away, but my lesson for today was I am sustained by the love of God. That took me through my day because I dealt with some challenging things as we
Mm,
all do. But just realizing that and just
love it.
keeping repeating that to myself and practicing the lesson, it just helped carry me through my day. And I'm just so grateful for my lessons.
Yeah. Oh, I
Really,
love that. I love
yes.
that.
And God's voice speaks to me all through the day. So if his voice talks to me through the day, who else I'm listening to and entertaining? Nobody but love.
That's why I
I'm
said, imagine Jesus is telling you who you are every day in the lessons. By the time that year is up, who can tell you what? Nobody can tell you anything about who you are. You will be in alignment with truth. Thank you so much for that, Ebony, because these lessons are a blessing. Sometimes ego make you, it's sometimes it's like it feels like a burden. I'm like, okay,
it helps. It helps with those attack thoughts. It
yeah.
really helps with those attack thoughts when you're constantly reminded of what that lesson is for the day. Those attack thoughts are so much easier to replace with loving, kind, generous, compassionate thoughts like, I am love. So, no, you will not come in and try to spiral me out of control because I'm going higher in love with God.
Mm, mm. Don't y'all see Ebony preaching one day? Like you just can feel it.
Greg, too. Greg be going on too. We all got it. We all got it.
That's right.